But I want to talk about something that is a movie that is far from now, a movie that will be opening. It's been announced October 2023. It is the second film in the planned Denis Villeneuve trilogy of Dune movies. It's Dune 2. My understanding is obviously we had Dune Book 1, right? Or it's Dune Part 1. The second part is going to be Dune Prophet, Prophet, Prophet. And the third Dune film will be called Dune Messiah, based on the novel, the follow-up to Dune, which is almost like a novella. It's so short, Dune Messiah. But I love Dune. Obviously, I've talked about it. It's yes, Luke James, Dune. It's a trilogy. It's okay. He wants it to be a trilogy. They've only formally announced the second movie, but I did see an interview with Denis Villeneuve where he talked about that he wants to make the third film in the series, but for the first book, basically Paul Atreides. You know what I'm going to do, Alan? For you, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
I'm going to do this just for you, so please be patient with me for a second. I just me right there.
Okay. I will say that if you watch our Dune review, yes, I have not read the books.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's why I ask a lot of the questions to you that people are like, well, if you read the books, you know, but I didn't.
Well,
I have to go by the movies.
Exactly. Well, I've read the first 4 books through God Emperor. I started to read Heretics of Dune, and it just went kind of off the rail. Once the sort of story of the Atreides family was told, I was sort of done. Kind of like Star Wars, it's just like, all right, it's the Skywalker family saga. Once that goes away, why are we here? Right. I mean, to me, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, they represent the original Star Trek. Next Generation, I mean, that's, Riker, Picard, and the Data and the rest, right? So Dune 2 will be the second half of the Dune book. And if you go back and watch the David Lynch original, there's a reason I'm bringing all this up, by the way. If you watch the David Lynch original, almost the last half of the book is almost all in montage. There are very few scenes. It's like he rushed to get to the end. Originally, he thought he was making a 3 to 4 hour movie. Dino De Laurentiis was very strict about it being close to a 2 hour running time. David Lynch's original vision was wiped away. There is a TV version of Dune that includes a lot of the footage that wasn't used. And there is one, we've talked about it on the show, a version that's on YouTube that is restored to 4K, that is all of the scenes, including from the Japanese Laserdisc, which I still have the Japanese Laserdisc. Guess what? I don't own a Laserdisc player. But I have it.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, exactly. But what's interesting about Dune 2, we've never really seen, and I did watch that Sci-Fi Channel series. I did not like it. I thought it was like a stage play. It just felt like cheap. Did not love it. But what's interesting is Denis Villeneuve wants to do a trilogy, but in the book, the first Dune book, Paul Atreides ages like 2 or 3 years. It takes place over the course of like 2 to 3 years. I think it starts out that Paul Atreides is like 15, 16, and he's like around 18 by the end. So it's sort of his teenage years, right? He's becoming a young rebel. The second book, Dune Messiah, takes place about like 10, 15 years later. He's in his early 30s. So, and there's already been this, galactic war, and this, they don't want to use the word jihad, but that's what's in the book. So what Denis Villeneuve says, he wants to make the third film, but he wants to make it after some time so that actually actor Timothée Chalamet will have aged, right? He'll have, and which I think is kind of cool. I love that concept. But
except he'll still look like a kid. That's the thing.
He's still going to look like kid. He's got that like kid face, like there's just certain actors that like, no matter, they're sort of stuck at looking 35, no matter how old they get. But yeah, no, I'm excited about it because one, this is my Dune. Here, I'm going to go full screen just for a second. This is my Dune sandworm that I had I think I got this in high school or early college when the first David Lynch movie came out, and I still have it. It sits on my shelf. I'm going to put it back here.
I feel like that's I feel like that's something else, but you broke it and then you made it a sandworm.
Well, it's a sandworm. That's what it is. But also, I got this book, which I strongly recommend. It's based on the new movie, Dune, The Art and Soul of Dune, and it's all the designs, unused designs, including like guild navigators, which were designed but not used. And it's an amazing book. Strongly recommend this. There's a version you can get that's like $500 and signed. I did not get that version. I did not get that. I just want the book to be able to, it's a great coffee table book, and I'm super pumped for what the new Dune could be. And I'll tell you why. It's because what's interesting that Frank Herbert does in the Dune book, right? We had this amazing scene where the spice mining, the spice mining contraption, the carry-all stuff almost got like, all these people almost got killed in this big epic scene in the movie. And those action scenes in the book are just sort of touched upon, like, and this happened. They don't detail what happens in these battles. It's like the result. It's almost like if you were watching a play, like the action takes place off screen, you know what happens, but it's not described in exhausting detail about like Bernie Halleck did this, and then he took a gun, and then he did this. Like, it's not in there. It's just implied, the types of actions and things that happen. So what it does is it leaves Denis Villeneuve like a really interesting, like open palette to, to kind of make up the action scenes. And there will be a lot of action scenes in this film. This is really, the Fremen led by Paul Atreides eventually basically taking on and rebelling against the Harkonnens on the planet, and kind of, stifling all the spice production to bring the Emperor to Arrakis. I think it'll be epic. You're going to see things we've not seen in any previous incarnation of Dune, because Denis Villeneuve can do it. He really did his world building in it and kind of built out. And I think that David Lynch, a lot of credit is due David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
He really helped set, like, he made it so people kind of like Dune's been in the zeitgeist. And, you've seen the David Lynch one, you've seen the Sci-Fi Channel one, you might have read it in college or whatever, but like people kind of know it. It doesn't seem as weird as it was, back when it first came out. The original movie in 1984. It was December 1984, I believe. I remember because I was very disappointed when I first saw it. But
this is the impression I got from watching Dune, the Denis Villeneuve, however you say his name. We talk a lot about it with Star Wars, with Lord of the Rings of Power. The thing I got from Dune was I felt like it captured Frank Herbert's, the themes and the spirit behind his story. That even though he did a little bit of race swapping, I got a sense of what that story was, and I didn't necessarily get that from David Lynch. I thought that was just kind of throwing the narrative up on the screen, but not giving us the backstory of that narrative.
Right.
In a way, I think you're right with the television series. It did feel like a play, and quite frankly, I liked the last chapter of that where it involved the twins. I thought that was a much better story than I had going into the first half of that miniseries. Well, the first series of the miniseries. Well, you back yet?
I'm not back. This is bad. I can't. I'm following this. I don't know. What am I doing? There we go. A lot.
But I mean, but I think it hits on what we've been saying is like, Frank Herbert wrote a story. We need to tell his story. We don't need to update it. We don't need to wokeify it. There's such value in what he wrote that I don't know why we have to, why stories of old have to be updated or need to be updated, because I think there's a lot that we need to learn from the past and remember from the past.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is my whole reason for doing this, was to show you this. So Denis Villeneuve did this photo shoot with Zendaya, and what he was trying to do was, it feels like he was almost like these were like wardrobe tests for the second movie. Here we go. You see that?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Okay. So I'm going to, it's from W Magazine. It's their director's issue. And it says Zendaya is Future Human, directed by Denis Villeneuve. So what he did is he directed this photo shoot of Zendaya. But when you look at this, it's very reminiscent of, if you look up paintings of, people's imagination of what Dune is, if you actually, I mean, if you really want to go down a rabbit hole, these are the things. Like on Instagram, I follow certain hashtags, like Batman, Dune, um, like Film Threat, because like people will post like weird, like, I've got an old issue of Film Threat, check it out, like old weird stuff. But this is like, to me, because he's going to start, Denis Villeneuve is going to start shooting Dune 2 in July. He's working on the movie. I get the sense looking at this, it's very reminiscent of like imagery. Is she a Reverend Mother from the Fremen? It's really cool. So yeah, she's a lily pad, says Patrick Lemire. Zendaya sounds like sounds like a yogurt brand. It says Toxic Waltz N8. Future cup size will be, oh no, there you go. Could be a novel cover. See, that's what I thought. Akanika, you're gonna please, my apologies. Yeah, it could be a novel cover for a Dune book. I'm gonna go through like more of these pictures because I want you all to see it. But this is really cool. I really, really was impressed with this. And okay, you're gonna get some ads, but it's like when you look at it, it has that like Denis Villeneuve, his interpretation of Dune versus David Lynch's is his is very minimalist. It's very clean. It's a different than sort of, your Star Wars dirty. I mean, aspects of it are dirty, of course, on Arrakis. Sand, it gets everywhere. But I was really intrigued by these images, and I thought, isn't Denis Villeneuve about to start shooting Dune? And I thought to myself that maybe this is kind of a glimpse into some concepts that he's considering for the second Dune film. So I was really intrigued by it. Like look at this thing that, what is this? Some of the copy here, it says, as Villeneuve conceptualized the shoot, he was inspired by David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth. He thought about a vulnerable creature landing on our planet, wanting to learn about humanity and witnessing the morally decrepit state of the world and our politics. So I really love Denis as a genre filmmaker. I think he thinks very deeply about this. I think his films have gotten better and better. I really enjoyed Arrival. I think the ending is sort of unnecessarily confusing. I feel like this is like these modern directors, they think that like, if I make it confusing, that means I'm smart. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think ambiguous, I don't have a problem with ambiguous. I mean, 2001 A Space Odyssey is one of my favorite films, but check out some of these. This is just, I don't know.
Yeah, what is that?
More of his photography, but I just find it interesting because of the style. It feels very, if these could be costume designs for Dune 2. And so I was very intrigued when this popped up. And I don't know why I have, but this is cool. It's there. I will share this because there's an interview with Denis Villeneuve. So I'm going to share this in the chat. I see you in the chat. So there you go. There's a link to what I'm looking at right now, but we're looking at it together, which is always a lot of fun. Wait, I think I can even make us smaller, Alan. I can make us even smaller. Here we go. There we go. We're even tinier looking at these pics. But I just found it really interesting, and I like stuff like that. I mean, whenever you look at a director's early work, you kind of see, like, when you see a director develop, whether it's a Tim Burton, say, or a Sam Raimi, and you look at their early work, there are always ideas that kind of leak from side projects, David Lynch in particular. So I was really intrigued by this. I mean, some of it looks like a perfume ad. I'm not going to lie. But I also felt that there's something about this. He's clearly kind of obsessed with Zendaya, hopefully a healthy obsession. I mean, she is the lead actress and apparently, according to reports, takes on a larger role in the next film. This definitely looks like could be a promo or a teaser for a Dune 2 poster. If anyone was going to do like a Dune 2 like poster art, this definitely has, it's just got that vibe. And I just think I mean, Denis Villeneuve is a very visual filmmaker. So it doesn't. These images don't really surprise me. These costumes, and I can't wait to see what he does with it. Now there is a rumor. There is a rumor that some parts have been cast. Princess Irulan is going to be played by God. Why am I spacing on her name? She was in Black Widow and also in Midsummer. Someone in the chat, please help me out.
Oh,
Chat.
Rachel Weisz.
What's that?
Rachel Weisz.
No, not Rachel
No.
Weisz. No. Oh, and Geek Truth 64, thank you for your $1.99 super chat. Villeneuve is the master of film atmosphere. Absolutely. 100% agree. But I'm loving these images, because if this is a glimpse into like what Dune 2 might have in store in terms of just its otherworldliness and its weirdness, I really like the designs of the Bene Gesserit. I thought that they were really just striking. The wardrobe and the costumes was really interesting, and I hope that he just continues to go down the realm of weirdness. And I guess, and here you are. That's another story, Sheila Hicks from the same magazine. So there you go. Possibly a glimpse into Dune 2. It's my this is my speculation, at least in terms of a look. And I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty awesome.